Today we make these look so much better. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tomorrow's Filmmakers. My name is Justus McCraney, and today we're going to be talking about practical ways to really sell the fact that you have a real gun when you actually don't. So we're going to be taking a $20 M4, two $10 Uzis, and like a $30 AK. We're going to be doing some practical stuff to it to change it to really make it look so much better and look exactly like a real gun. So like I've said before, whenever you first take these guns out of the box, they kind of look, okay, I guess. I mean, they look kind of plasticish, they have this huge orange tip, and they don't look like they've ever seen the sun. So from a distance, yeah, it can kind of work. You can just put them way off in the distance, no one can really tell. But if you start to get a little bit closer, you can really see that it's a plasticish gun. So we want to take our plastic guns and make them look real. So the first thing that we're going to do is to get rid of that dumb orange tip. So the first thing that you'd be thinking of is, hey, I'm just going to break it off. But you don't want to do that because real guns have flash hiders on the end of the barrel, which is what that's called. So we want to keep that part of the gun, but with airsoft guns, they just paint it orange. So we just want to change the color of the flash hider from orange to black. How are we going to do this? Of course, by using spray paint. So I went and got some flat black spray paint, and we're going to spray paint the orange tips. So what you first want to do is tape the barrel next to the flash hider so you don't get any paint on it. And you're probably thinking, it's black paint, why should I care? Well, some of the barrels have a different shade of black than the spray paint that we're using. So what we want to do is to just paint the flash hider, even if it's a little bit different shade, it looks better than getting a little bit of it on the barrel so it kind of bleeds into it and looks like we obviously painted it. So we're just going to tape around the barrel to make sure that we don't get any paint on the barrel. We're going to do that to all of the guns so that they're ready to be spray painted. And now we can go outside and start spray painting these. Now, you're probably going to have to put a couple coats of paint on it because since it's so orange, it kind of takes a little bit of extra paint to really cover that up. And since we really don't care how the airsoft guns shoot, go ahead and spray inside the barrel and all around it just so that you cover every single inch of orange because sometimes there's little creases and stuff, but you really need to cover that up. So go ahead and give it a coat of paint and then let it dry, and if you can still see the orange a little bit through it, just go ahead and do it again. Make sure to get all the little crevices to make sure that there is no orange left. And now these guns are starting to look a lot better. I mean, it's amazing. Just covering up that orange tip really helps sell the fact that this is a real gun. But even though there's no orange tip, there's still something missing. It still looks like it hasn't seen any sun. It still looks kind of plastic. It doesn't look metal. So if you do some research on how actual guns look in the military, they're very scratched, they're very dirty, they've been used, all the rails are scratched up, all the paint's coming off on the handle, on the grip, on the magazine where you slide it in and out will be worn and the paint will start to come off and you can see that the metal is starting to show. And so you're thinking, so? Who cares? I have a new gun, so it's gonna look new. But the little subtle details are really what sells this. I saw someone do this before and it was an absolutely wonderful idea. So we're gonna take our perfectly black, plastic, clean airsoft guns and make them look like they've been through a war. So we're gonna get some silver metallic spray paint. I tried to just get gray spray paint, that didn't work at all, so go with the silver metallic spray paint. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray some of that onto a plate and we're gonna take a sponge. Now you can get any sort of sponge that you want, go find a sponge in your house, but I found that the sponges with the net on it worked very, very well whenever you're trying to make scratches. Now here is where it gets fun and where you really sell the effect that you have a real gun. We're gonna take our sponge and we're gonna dip it in a little bit of the metallic paint. We're gonna scrape some of it off so there's not a whole lot of paint on there. Then we're gonna take our gun and we're going to imagine where there would be scratches on this gun. What sticks out? What are you touching a lot? What are you using the most? And we're gonna start putting little bitty scratches on the edges of this gun. So like on the magazine's gonna slide in and out, so we're gonna put some scratches on the edges of the magazine. We're gonna put some scratches where you'd hold it. We're also gonna put a little bit of scratches just in the very center of the magazine where it's gonna be sliding in and out of the gun and the metal's gonna be rubbing against metal to make it look scratched, to make it look worn, and it really makes a difference. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our sponge and we're going to dip the corner in the spray paint. Then we're going to just kind of spread some of it out so that there's not a whole lot on the sponge. Then we're going to take our gun and we are going to look it over. And anything that sticks out, any sort of point, any sort of thing that you would be holding or your hand would rub a lot or that would get scratched, we're going to put a little bit of metallic spray paint on there. And what it's doing is it's making it look like the paint is coming off of the gun and revealing the metal. But really, we're adding spray paint on there so it looks like it's a metal gun, but it's really plastic. So like for the M4, on the rails, there would be a ton of scratches on the rails because you put attachments on there, you're holding it with your hand, so on the edges of the rails, we're gonna add a bunch of scratches, maybe in the middle a little bit, so that it really looks like this gun has been scratched and it is metal, and this gun has been through a lot. We're gonna do the handle, scratch that up a little bit, the trigger guard and the trigger where it would be nicked on things, especially the iron sights. So what you wanna do is you wanna look over your gun, find where your hand would usually be, where would it be worn, what would you nick it on, what corner of the gun would you hit, and you wanna start adding scratches on there. And this is a collapsible stock M4, so on the inside would be a lot of scratches. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some paint in there and then flip over our sponge to the dry side and just rub that in so it's not like as much scratches, it looks kind of worn. And even the semi and safe and auto selector, that would be scraping the gun, so we're gonna add a little bit of scrapes on that. And as we continue to do this, it really sells the fact that this gun is metal and it is real. Same thing with the AK-47. On the magazine, we're gonna add some scratches on the handle, on the trigger guard, at the top of it, little points that stick out on the AK that would get nicked on things, the iron sights, the barrel. So you've come to all the edges and made sure there's a lot of scratches on the edges, but then after that, you might just wanna get a little bit of paint and just lightly tap all around the AK so there's just a little bit of scratches on it to make it look worn. And it took me like years, but I finally got that stupid sticker off the AK that says, "Warning, don't let children play with this." Took me forever, but I finally got it off. And I was actually very surprised how the final product turned out. I think it actually looks great. And another thing that helps is to add some sort of attachment to your gun. A lot of the airsoft guns will come with cheap little plastic attachments like handles and flashlights and lasers and things that really are worthless. But if you add scratches to them, just like we did to the gun, and then put them on the gun, it really sells it. It makes it look like a special ops gun that's completely metal and very realistic. And now we have some solid looking guns to use for our action scenes. Now this is completely plastic, but it looks metal because we've scratched it. We've used metallic paint so it'll actually glisten kind of in the light and make it look very metal and make it look very authentic. So now $20, we've covered up the flash hider, we've scratched it up, we've done a lot of practical things to make it look real, and now this could definitely pass as a real full metal gun. Now there are some type of guns that you really can't do anything with, like see-through guns. Really just try to stay away from these if you're wanting to use them for your movies. Sure, you can try to spray paint them, but it's not really gonna work. It's gonna look weird, and you're not gonna look as authentic as if you used a black airsoft gun and then made it look real that way. So stay away from the clear, transparent airsoft guns. So now you don't have to spend $400 and get a metal airsoft gun. You can get a plastic one and then do the things that we just talked about and make it look metal and make it look authentic. So listen guys, I want you guys to go get cheap airsoft guns, bring them back, get some spray paint, get some metallic paint and a sponge, and have a blast making these guns look authentic. So I hope this video has really helped you guys out on making airsoft guns look more real. So if you want to follow me on my social media stuff, you can go right here. So head on over to tomorrowsfilmmakers.com. We have videos just like this that we're putting out constantly to help you as you further God's kingdom through film, and I will see you guys there.